Okay, guys, we are going to chit our potatoes. C-H-I-T. Everybody say chit.
Chit.
Very good. Be careful with that word. Anyway, we are going to chit these potatoes. And what we do is a chit is a piece of a potato. These are seed potatoes. They're not potato seeds. These are actual potatoes. And the thing is, the potatoes that you guys buy in the grocery store, do they usually have big eyes growing on them like that?
No.
You know why that is?
Because they cut them?
No, it's because they treat them with a chemical that keeps the potato from growing to keep it fresh. I know. So we could plant these potatoes just the way they are. How many eyes do you see on this potato? Really one good one. So this little baby here, that one is just going to be put in the ground and planted as is. It only has one plant coming off of it. But every eye that's on a potato could turn into a plant. If we cut this into a chit, which means a chunk, right, with an eye on it, we can make multiple plants out of this. Now we've got one great big eye here, but there's also a small eye here on this one that's starting to grow. Lucy, do you mind taking that knife? I already started to cut. Just cut right down that line right there. It's going to take a little effort. Here, yeah. There you go. Push hard. Like move it back and forth, sort of. That's it. That's it. Push, push, push. Good. Very good. All right, now.
Looks like an apple.
This is what we call a potato chit. Okay? It's just a chunk of potato, and we can grow this, and the roots will come out of the stem down here, out of that eye, and we'll grow a whole new plant, just like that. That could produce a lot of potatoes for us. And now we have 2 plants from the one potato, because that eye will grow and this eye will grow. There's just one thing. What might happen if I take this chunk or this chit of potato and I put it in the ground?
It'll rot.
It'll rot. Why would it rot?
Because all the moisture in that moisture, it will just rot.
Yeah, bacteria love wet places. They reproduce like crazy in wet places. And that wet surface right there, that is just food for bacteria to eat. There's starch in there and sugar. The bacteria would go crazy and reproduce in that and eat it and rot it. And before you know it, that little stem would be rotten and the plant would be dead. So what we do to get these to grow is we leave these out in the air for about a week. And what happens is this will turn kind of grayish, blackish, and it will get super dry and it will scab over and get hard. When that is hard and dry, it's going to be a lot harder for the bacteria to get in there and rot it. So we need to prepare our potato chits about a week in advance. That's what we're doing today. We're not putting these in the ground today. We're just going to cut these up into chits or into chunks. And then in a week or two, we will put these in soil and we'll keep them inside to get them started growing weeks before we can put them outside. So that helps you grow a whole lot more potatoes than you could normally just making your chits and throwing them in the ground immediately. All right, go ahead, cut it. Beautiful, very nice. Look at all those chits we have. So we had 4 to start with. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 possible plants. Very, very good. So yesterday, our garden club members started our seed potatoes. We have our chits that we cut and dried, and each one has an eye growing on it. You can see those little white nubs at the base are the roots starting, and the green tip is the starting part of the growth of the plant itself. We put them in paper bags with a decent amount of Happy Frog soil in there. And all we did was we put the chit down into the soil, just cover it over a tiny bit, and we're going to water this a tiny bit just to get it just a little damp, not very, very wet. We don't want it to rot. We'll close the bag to shade that chit so that when the sprout starts growing, it kind of reaches for the sun, reaches for that light. And we're going to place this indoors in a closet where it's nice and dark and warm. Give it about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. Those plants should be a few inches tall, and that's going to give them a few weeks head start on our season. All right, so we're just going to water them just a little bit. That is plenty. just right where that chit is, where that seed potato piece is. And then we'll close it up, and that should be enough water to get these started. We'll check it in a week, and my guess is some of those stems will be poking through the soil, the top of the soil inside these bags. Might water them one more time, but you know, in about 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, we'll just rip the top of the bag off. The part where the soil is in contact will be a little bit rotten already. So we'll leave the bottom part down here where the soil is attached, pull off this top part here, and plant the whole thing with the paper in the ground. The paper bag will decompose into the soil, and the plant's roots will go right through the wet paper.